Okay, we're here with Gracie and during her session, and Gracie, we just got done doing the leadership exercise, which was kind of off-putting for Gracie. I don't think she's used to ever having anyone say no to her, and so it really unsettled her. Now, the guardian, I want him to practice that, but in this video, we're going to go over how you can claim the door. I call this a door answering ritual, or the door exercise. So basically, in a minute or so, my friend Ben is going to knock on the door, and the dog is going to rush the door because the dog's ready to do it. So he's about to knock. Now, when this happens, you guys should call or text one another when this is going to happen, so you're ready for him. There we go. So now you're going to come over here, and come right up to the corner if you could. Now, when I answer the door, we like to think of it as one thing, but there's actually a whole bunch of little steps. It's important for us to teach the dog how we want them to behave on each step. Now, this is a big open entryway, so my rule is the dog is not allowed to be on the carpet around the door. So the first thing I'm going to do is move the dog off the carpet. So wherever the dog goes, I keep my hips pointed at the dog. And once the dog is moved away, I take one step back. Now, answering the door is a whole bunch of little steps. The first step is the deadbolt. And you can't see the dog because she's underneath the camera, but her ears and her head shifted forward. She heard this. I'm going to practice this as noisy as possible so I can teach her when this is happening, your job is to stay off the carpet. I don't care where you're at as long as you're not in here. So after I've done this enough and she stays in place, then I slap the handle. Again, I want to make it as noisy as possible. Then I'm going to open it in a crack. We have the alarm. Then I shift on this side of it and I open it in front of it. And I'm going to invite my guests to come in but stay behind me. And not the door, please. Now, when we're doing this, the dog is not allowed to be on this carpet. They can be anywhere else. So if we have somebody who's a dog, not a dog person, this is going to be good because she likes him. So it gives me a chance to correct. So if I have somebody that's not a dog person, oh, I'm afraid of dogs. Well, that's all right. The dog can't go on the carpet. Okay, that'll make your guests feel more confident. Now, if I am one of the members of the family, and let's say this is a relative that comes in, I want to keep either my hips or my shoulders or my head pointed at the dog. So if I want to hug the person, I'm going to keep my head facing the dog, I'm going to turn and hug. Or if I want to kiss the person, don't worry, I'm not going to kiss you. I'm going to keep my hips and shoulders pointed at the dog, and I'm going to turn and kiss this way. So above or below the neck is going to be pointed at the dog. This way we've taught the dog, this is how we want you to behave during this activity. This isn't a hard one for dogs because it's excitement of somebody new coming in. But because we move the dog further away, it's less intense. It makes it easier for the dog to control themselves, and we're adding some structure and teaching the dog, like I said, how we want them to behave each step along the way. Now, what I would have the guardians do is start calling or texting each other before they come home. When you're a block away, text her, you want to do the door exercise? Yes, because what normally happens when somebody comes to our door, we're not ready for it. We're taking an online finger painting class with a friend of ours. We're watching the class on the TV, and I'm talking to my friend on the phone, and I'm cooking some dinner, and the dog is barking. When somebody comes to the door, I have to now run and wash my hands. I got to hang up the phone. I got to turn off the TV. I got to lower the stove and get to the door. And the dog's like, look how fast she's moving. She never moves this fast. What's different? There's some jerk at the door. Look what the jerk's doing to my humans. I'm going to have to go yell at this jerk and let them know they're disturbing the peace. So when we do it with each other, we don't have that emotional baggage of, oh, I have to rush. So when Ben texts you, you get up, you tell your friend, hey, let me give you a call back. We're going to practice this door thing. You hang up the phone, you go wash your hands, and you turn on the stove. Then you come back and you leave the volume on the TV and you pretend like you're finger painting. And you know he's going to come through the door in a minute. So as soon as he does, you're able to turn and go and address the door and deal with the door by itself. And again, we're going to teach the dog, first step is you're not allowed to be on the door. Before I even open the door, I'm going to move you off the carpet by using that third consequence, marching at the dog. Then I'm going to move backwards. If I move the dog here and then I turn to go back to the door, my authority is now going this way. So when you do this the first several times, take a step back, pause. Step back, pause. Pause 1 second in between each step going back, and then break down answering the door. The deadbolt, slap several times, and slapping the handle several times. Then opening it a crack and waiting for the alarm. Then opening it all the way, then inviting the guest in, closing the door. This way, again, we're teaching the dog how we want them to behave. Now, this is what we do for the door, but you can use the same concept for any behavior that your dog does not know how to behave. This is a perfect example. Another rule that I suggest is a dog should not be allowed on the carpet around the table during lunch or dinner. Well, when we're at dinner time, we're hungry. we're distracted. Our priority of interest is right here, not the dog. So what I would suggest you do for this is set the table for dinner, and a couple minutes before dinner, do a dry run. Get a piece of roast beef, microwave it for about 25 seconds. It will smell delicious to the dog. Have everybody in the family sit down at the table, cut up the roast beef and put it on each person's plate. If the dog starts approaching, we hiss. If we have to, we stand up, and we have to, we march. So we have the dog practice staying off of the carpet while we have the smell of food, but we're not actually eating it. Then, once we've practiced, we put the roast beef away, then we serve our actual meal. Now the dog just had a dry run of this, and now when our focus is on the food, the dog is already kind of exhibiting the behavior that we're looking for. So I kind of morphed off into talking about this, but this is basically the same concept that I do for any dog behavior problem. I identify what the dog's trying to do first, then I break it down in individual steps. I recreate the situation and breaking it down in individual steps so I can play with the elements. Maybe too many elements are too intense for the dog, so I start pulling elements away until I find the ones where the dog can produce the result we want. Then we start gradually building in the other elements until we get back to the real world situation. So this is what I like to call the door exercise, or how you can teach your dog to stay away from the door.